It's a mummy from an ancient tribe of headhunters called the Ibaloi. In the history of the Philippines' many tribes, only one, a small group in the remote highlands, devised a way to preserve the bodies of their loved ones for hundreds and perhaps thousands of years. Their unusual method, smoking, succeeded in preserving even beautiful tattoos. The first scientific study ever of these mummies is about to begin. Dr. Orlando Abignon, conservation curator of the National Museum of the Philippines, is leading the expedition. He's bringing a team of anthropologists on a 2-day journey from Manila, the nation's capital, to the northern province of Benguet. The majority of the mummies are here, within a few miles of the farming town of Kabayan. Abignon will search for them high above the town in mountain caves.
Well, we feel nervous because they are resting place for the dead, but we are excited when we find mummies in it.
The Ibaloi's past is shrouded in mystery. They once were headhunters, fierce warriors who took enemies' heads as trophies of war. Until 100 years ago, few outsiders ventured to this forbidding region. So many questions remain unanswered. How many mummies exist? How were they created? The search for answers is fraught with danger. Like the Egyptian curse of the mummies, many Ibaloi still believe that when the mummy's spirits are angered, terrible consequences follow. Local people tell of floods, mudslides, and disease. Trespassers can die, and the whole community suffers.
We have experienced curse of the mummies, low production of their agriculture, closed roads, heavy rains for months.
When something happens, they know that the spirits of the dead are angry, or yeah.
Abignon will search over 100 caves, looking for mummies. At dawn, he takes his team to one of them. Most have been off limits to visitors. But the Ibaloi are offering Abignon access in the hope that he can stop looters from stealing mummies. Cramped inside the small cave, only 15 feet deep, lie ancient wood coffins. The Ibaloi visited here regularly to appease the mummy's spirits. Before Abignon's team enters the cave, they make a small offering of their own. They present the spirits with a chicken and gin. Abignon never enters a cave without performing this ritual. The National Museum team is finally ready to go inside. They are joined by Winda Trevathan from New Mexico State University. She will be the first physical anthropologist ever to examine the mummies. The Ibaloi buried all their dead in caves and coffins, but they mummified only their most powerful chiefs and warriors.
Sandal natin ito.
It's nicely preserved, don't you think?
Yes.
Look, you can still see the nails. Okay. It's heavy.
The scientists hold in their hands the leathery, wrinkled vessel of an Ibaloi spirit. This headhunting tribe mummified their leaders so the spirits could remain part of their community. So long as this body remains intact and close by, its spirit is a powerful ally, if it is not angered.
Now, do you think the Vandals have done that?
No, these are natural deterioration.
Okay, okay. Peeling back like that.
Mummies remain well preserved as long as they do not stay wet for long periods of time. Loose coffins and airy caves usually provide a free exchange of air, which keep them dry. But Avignon suspects rain has leaked into this cave, causing decay, especially on the forehead.
Eating that. Is that insects? Is that what's doing that?
They go on to another coffin.
Oh, they're tiny people, aren't they? Look how small that is. Yes, the hair's still attached.
Some mummies were buried with a small blanket and woven jewelry.
Oh, I see. It's around the ear?
Oh,
in the hands. I see.
a ring, like a rattan ring.
Oh, yes, I see.
This ring, made of twine, is one of the few pieces of jewelry looters have not stolen. The search for mummies continues on the mountainside below, in another cave. This is one of the best preserved of the 32 Philippine mummies Avignon has found so far.
Look at the preservation on the tattoo. That's amazing.
Generally, in the Ibaloi culture, male who have a high standing in society or he is a tribal chief, they are fully decorated with the tattoo as a symbol of their nobility.
And that's all over, all on their legs,
Yes,
on their
all over
shoulders,
legs,
on the
including
back,
at the
on their
back,
hands.
yeah.
It's everywhere.
Many tattoos were badges of honor for bravery, including prowess in headhunting. This was a warrior to be feared. Trevathan wants to estimate his age. The best indicator she has are his teeth.
Instead of falling out like they did in the others. This mummy looks so healthy. I don't see any evidence of dental cavities or anything like that. I would say prime of life.
She estimates the warrior was 35 to 40 when he died.
There's some features on the actual skeleton itself that you can look at.
She sees no sign of injury or disease.
Old.
Avignon brings out the mummy's companion, a tiny boy.
An infant's skin is so fragile
Right.
that to be this well preserved is amazing. Now, was this in the coffin with the
Yes,
adult male?
Yeah, it is. It goes in one coffin.
One
in fact,
coffin.
there's another one. There are 3 in one coffin.
3 in one
We
coffin.
suspect that's the...
Avignon believes
Yes.
they were a family.
Maybe a family. Maybe a family.
That's what we suspect.
Uh-huh. Now, we should be able to tell how old that child is. These look like baby molars, the teeth that the child would eventually lose. But those are baby teeth.
Trevathan estimates the child is 5 or 6 years old. Abignon has found what appears to be a perfectly preserved family with no obvious signs of illness. He speculates that perhaps an epidemic, like cholera, swept the region. But for now, the cause of their death remains unknown. Another mystery remains. How did the Ibaloi preserve bodies so successfully? Astonishingly, the Ibaloi can still recount the entire mummification process step by step. The last mummification occurred just 100 years ago. The process begins with the death of a tribal leader. Relatives lay the warrior on the floor of his house. Outside, they prepare a feast for the community. Mummification would take an incredible 6 months to 2 years. Only the wealthy could afford to underwrite the process by feeding villagers for months.
During the olden times, people who are only mummified were the rich people, the chieftains of the tribe. They were the only ones that could afford the expenses in the rituals.
Inside the warrior's house, his wife removes his clothes and washes his body. They pour salt water down his throat, then cover him with a blanket. Then they bind his body to a chair and tie it to the outside of his house. The key to all mummification is to dry the body completely. The Egyptians covered their corpses with salt for months. The Ibaloi's secret is to light a fire beneath the chair, creating a low heat. They literally smoke the body. A vessel underneath catches the body fluids. Villagers rub the body regularly with juice pounded from guava leaves and other herbs. And they blow tobacco smoke into the deceased's mouth. The process continues for many more months. Drop by drop, the body dries out. From a 120-pound man, they extract up to 90 pounds of water, almost 75% of his body weight. What remains are completely dehydrated tissues and bones. Without any water present, bacteria, enzymes, and insects can no longer cause decay. The role of the Ibaloi's salt water, herbs, and tobacco smoke remains unknown. Scientists speculate that salt water destroys bacteria in the stomach. The Ibaloi believe their tobacco smoke dries the internal organs, while their herbs keep flies away. At last, with great ceremony, they place the mummified warrior in a coffin and lay him to rest in his cave, so his body and spirit can remain with them forever. Dr. Orlando Abignon wants to conduct the first scientific tests on the Philippine mummies. His first task is to date them. He speculates that the Ibaloi moved from the lowlands to this mountainous region at least 800 years ago. But no one knows when they began mummifying their dead. He cleans the mummy with alcohol.
This is a female mummy, and it was believed to be the wife of a chief. That's why you can see all over the body the tattoo as a decoration, as a symbol for a noble.
As far as anyone knows, these beautiful designs are purely decorative. This chief's wife has more tattoos than any other discovered so far. Abignon is collecting small pieces of mummies for radiocarbon dating. In a laboratory, scientists determine their age by measuring their carbon content. The dates surprise him. The mummies are recent, between 200 and 300 years old. This woman was probably alive at the time of the American Revolution. But Abignon will have to conduct more tests to confirm the mummy's age and to determine when the practice first began. Abignon plans more groundbreaking tests. He'll examine an Ebeloy mummy for the first time with modern medical technology. A mummified warrior is about to go on a journey. Abignon will examine a stolen mummy that he's just recovered from an antique stealer in Baguio, the largest city in the province of Benguet. En route to a hospital, the mummy has a taste of modern life. It's caught in its first traffic jam. A radiologist, Dr. Orlando Aragon, has offered to help conduct the exam.
Okay.
A looter stole this mummy over 20 years ago. The scientists wonder how it's fared.
I want to look at the...
A fine layer of dirt and mold covers its surface, but its skin is still well preserved.
And we can tell them, I would say based on the skull, that this is a male. Do you see how pronounced those brow ridges are? That certainly suggests male. And I'll
The
fill that-
investigators make a quick estimate of age.
It seems to me that is more than 50 years.
More
old.
than 50?
Yes.
And what are the main reasons you think?
Well, if you can see, it has so much stress in this particular part, the knee.
Yes.
It has been over-matured.
They also notice an unusual feature in the neck, a swelling.
And I would not be surprised if this mummy suffered from goiter because of iodine deficiency in their diet.
Goiter, a swelling of the thyroid gland, is still common in the region. It's unlikely to have killed him. The scientists hope X-rays will reveal the mummy's cause of death. But the X-rays show no stab wounds or signs of violence. No evidence of disease. Nothing here explains why this warrior died.
There, but you can't see it.
You have to tilt it a bit more to the right, so it has to be straight when it goes inside the gantry. Just a bit
Abignon
more.
plans one last test, a CT scan.
The left side, okay, I think it's perfect. Now you can put on the belt.
They strap the headhunter to one of the most advanced instruments of modern medicine. Unlike the Egyptians, who removed the organs, the Ebeloid left the organs intact. Now scientists will see if the Ebeloid's smoking technique was sophisticated enough to preserve more than skin. The CT machine takes hundreds of X-rays from many different angles.
Can you go back to the last image that you have shown?
This sliver within the skull is a brain preserved for hundreds of years. When you remove the water, this is what remains, a piece of tissue the size of an orange peel. The scientists move on to the chest and abdomen. Most organs contain so much water, they've shrunk beyond recognition. But here you can still see a sliver of tissue. It's all that remains of the lungs. Amazingly, the Ebeloid smoking process was so sophisticated, it succeeded in preserving not just the body, but the organs. Now Abignon turns to his most important goal, returning the stolen mummy to the Ebeloid people. A traditional priest makes offerings to welcome the spirit back to the community. The Ebeloid believe the angry spirits of stolen mummies have cursed them. They hope that now this warrior has returned, he will bring them good fortune. Kabayan will continue tracking down stolen mummies. He believes over 30 are still missing. He wants to bring them back home. The scientists will continue to search mountain caves. Each discovery they make increases our knowledge of these mysterious people, broadening our vision of mummies from ancient Egyptians to remote headhunters in the Philippine highlands.